Hello once again, Star Wars and unboxing fans. Welcome to another episode of Darth Tuba's Star Wars Unboxing Show. I'm your host, Darth Tuba, and today we are starting to receive some items that have come in the mail. Things from based on May the 4th. And I will say this, I did say that in some of my previous videos that I was not going to do as much purchasing online right now. And for the most part, I have stuck with that. However, with May the 4th, I was kind of trying to take advantage of certain deals and things of that nature. So I kind of broke my promise a little bit. I apologize for that. Most of what I've received over the last few weeks are things that I've ordered well into the late fall, early winter. But there are a couple of things that were related specifically to May the 4th, so I wanted to take advantage of that. This item is something that is very unique, and I have not seen this anywhere. I'm sure that there was so much Star Wars merchandise and collectibles and limited edition items that, you know, there's stuff everywhere and it's kind of hard to make out. But this is one that I thought was pretty cool. It's called the Star Wars Power Pack. And I got to be honest with you. When it first came in the mail, I forgot what this was. I mean, I just, you know, there was just certain things that I was looking at and making purchases, and I'm thinking, oh, that really looks cool. But, you know, you get, you know, this day and age, the quarantine at home has made us all kind of loopy, and I just simply forgot what it was. And in fact, to that end, I've started, like, you know, using my phone, making notes on things that I've ordered, when I've ordered them, maybe even doing screenshots of the confirmation page so I know I've ordered something and how I've ordered it and where I've ordered it and everything else. So that's kind of where this was kind of an idea from. I believe it's from Gamestop. And Gamestop, I will say this, folks, Gamestop is something that has been absolutely awesome when it comes to unique Star Wars product. I've said this in previous videos. And in addition to that, because their main focus is games, they have this huge kind of genre pop culture wall of everything under the sun, from things like Funko Pop and stuff like that to unique, unusual types of collectibles related to every type of genre, including Star Wars. And a lot of times, you know, they'll have stuff out, and then eventually that stuff will go on sale, and you can actually find some pretty good deals. So this is one of those items. It's called the Star Wars Power Pack, and as a you know, a box. I mean, I know I'm one for unboxing, but I got to tell you, the box is pretty cool. It's got the nice Star Wars label on it. Mine is actually number 1148 of 5,000, and I always like that because I've always said, you know, when they give you the full number of something, I've always thought to myself, you know, if they don't sell all these out, it'd be curious to see how much that they did sell. Are they selling them in order? Am I the 1,148th person to order the Power Pack? Because if that were the case and no one ordered it after me, that would mean that there are only 1,148 possible people in the world that want to be completists. Now, I don't want to be a completist, but anybody who did want to be a completist would want this. So it just made me wonder, like, I wonder how many completists. We all know about Steve Sansweet, and we all know that, you know, he does an amazing stuff with his Rancho Obi-Wan pilgrimage someday, folks. And I hope to get, in some point in the future, I hope to have an episode broadcasting, maybe even live streaming from Rancho Obi-Wan. Okay, but for now we can only dream. Anyway, so get back to our Power Pack. All right, now. It's pretty cool. It's got a kind of a flip open box, okay? I love the little long time ago in a galaxy far, far away little font. Okay, and then when we open it up, what do we have? Okay, we have a unique assortment of items here, okay? So what I'm going to do is I'm going to kind of slide this over. Excuse me, Baby Yoda. All right, and I'm going to kind of bring out everything one at a time. I think what I might do is actually if I can bring this whole box out. This is going to be tricky. Right, hang on. It's got a little flap here. It's tricky. All right, there we go. And that's nothing. Okay, and we'll go from here now. The rest, it's just this unique set of collectibles. We've got 3 items here. We've got what is essentially a Boba Fett rocket launcher, gauntlet, I believe. And we have a miniature Darth Vader skull, Darth Vader burnt up helmet from Force Awakens and the new sequel trilogy. And of course, we've got the medal. I'm going to call it Chewie's medal now because Chewie didn't have a medal. So I just thought this was unique. And you know, those who have seen my channel know that I am 100% all about unique Star Wars collectible items, okay? Things that not everybody's going to have, things that not everybody's going to even think to have. You know, I do have like some normal... Oh, come on. There it is. Some normal collectible items, you know, like Star Wars action figures, of course. I mean, those are the things I collect, like many people do. But I do like sometimes when I find these unusual items that are just quirky, and I just think that they're neat. And I also appreciate when they're quirky and neat and not break the bank expensive, because, you know, let's face it, we have that. We have to consider that as well. All right, so let's see how it works here. I think these are just going to come out. I'm going to pull these out. I'm actually going to lay these things in here. I think unlikely, these are just twist ties that I untwisted. In the unlikely event that I sell this, but it'll happen someday. So interesting. All right. Yeah, you just lay. It almost looks like an Iron Man thing, right? Obviously, you know, you're really not meant to. You're not meant to wear it. I mean, it's not really designed as is to be placed. But the really cool thing about this is that the power of magnets, kids. They actually can remove this, and it has two magnets, right? And it just kind of rests in there, and then, you know, holds together pretty nicely. I really like the way this is displayed, so I think I'm going to leave it like this. That's why I decided to keep that stuff as is. I'll find a place to just kind of present this, okay? Now, next up, now these I'm not going to keep because these are a little... All right, and you two can go. Now, this is really just, it's just a magnet. Again, like the other one, it's just a magnet. Okay, so it could go, I have a fridge over here. It could go up against the fridge. I'll probably put it there. Or maybe not. Maybe I'll just leave it in there. So cool, though. It's just a... I like this. I thought it didn't really... I mean, I probably didn't read the fine print enough, but I thought it was an actual full Vader, like a miniature version of the Vader skull. This is really only half. Okay, so I'm a little disappointed in that, but not too bad. It's still kind of cool to see that. I feel like I'm going to put my Kylo Ren helmet on and like kneel. Show me again the power. Show me, grandfather. And I'm not making fun of Kylo Ren. I loved Kylo Ren. I love the whole character. I love the whole story arc. And spoiler, I like how they ended his story arc. Let's get these things out of there. All right. And lastly, and I have a couple of these over the years, but the medal. I won't lie. I cried a bit. I cried a bit in Rise of Skywalker when Maz gave this to Chewie. I was always hoping that Chewie would get the medal eventually. I understand, and I don't really have much of an issue with that. But I will say this to people that kind of wonder, why do people do that? Why do people spend so much time complaining about, you know, such stupid, trivial stuff? It's not that they're complaining about it. It's just that when you watch a movie, you remember, movies are not meant to be watched 300 times. Okay, generally speaking, a movie is meant to be watched once, a couple of times maybe, and then you go on to the next movie. It's a story. You hear the story, you know the story, you learn it, and then you go on to another story. But the art form of film, it's still relatively new. It's 100 years old versus like painting, which is thousands and thousands of years old. Think about that. And music, hundreds and hundreds, if not thousands of years old. Okay? And dance, again, from tribal dancing, you're talking tens of thousands. As long as there's been human beings on the planet, there has been dance of some sort. And probably some sort of music and probably some sort of art, visual art. But when it comes to movies, all right, movies are a relatively young art form, okay? And when people started watching movies, when people started making movies, it was just the thrill of being able to see live or not live, but pictures, moving pictures that you could see. Remember the story about the train? If anybody doesn't know this, the train, the first, very, very first film that was ever shown was that of a train just traveling on the tracks. And they set the camera up right next to the track, so the train was coming towards the camera. Well, that makes it look like the train's coming towards the screen, and all these people thought they were panicking because they thought the train was going to come bursting through the screen and kill them all. So you understand, it was a novelty. It was different. It was something they were learning to understand what it meant and how to process it. And then only later did it become more of an art form. And now people take movies and rewatch them for all sorts of reasons. Everything from the costuming, the lighting, the texture of the film, and the way that the way the film was developed, and the type of texture it has. The story, the backstory, the side stories, the drama that went behind the scenes to have it happen. When it comes to Star Wars, people have watched it so many times that they've broken apart every little aspect of it, far more than even George Lucas, who was pretty much a world builder, let's be honest, wasn't thinking in that much minutia. Like, for example, when Luke and Han blew up the Death Star at the end, they walk up the long aisle with all the troopers, and there's Chewie with Han, and they receive their medals. Luke gets a medal, Han gets a medal, but no medal for Chewie. And everybody always would, after watching this, nobody really talked about it in the 70s or even in the early 80s. It wasn't until like the 90s when the 20th anniversary came around. And I remember there was an MTV, oops, sorry Yoda. There was an MTV special. I think it was like a Kids' Choice Awards or something like that. And Carrie Fisher was on, and she like finally gave Chewbacca, and they brought Peter Mayhew back to put on the Chewie suit, and Chewie came out and Leia gave Chewie the medal. So I thought that was kind of fun, and a cute thing. But I don't think it was really something where people were like crying foul and I want my money back. Chewie didn't get his medal. It wasn't anything of that nature, But just a cool, just a cool story, and the way that they actually, the pop culture idea of why did Chewie not get a medal actually found its way into the story, and they gave Chewie Han's medal at the end. I thought that was really something, and it was Maz that gave it to him because Maz, that's his, it's her boyfriend. So there you go. Anyway, if you haven't seen the sequel trilogy, there's some fun things in there, and I'm going to tell you, folks, like it or not, there will be new callbacks to the new trilogy, just like there were now to the prequels and to the original trilogy and to the Clone Wars cartoon series. It's there. Star Wars is for everyone. If you don't like it, Game of Thrones. You can watch Game of Thrones on whatever, on Showtime, reruns, whatever. But anyway, so this is kind of cool. All right, I really do enjoy this. I'm going to try to get this back into its container because I do think that ultimately, there's a chance, if it came with some stands, I might have considered, well, actually, now that I look at this, like the top of this is kind of a harder piece. It isn't like cardboard. It's more of a plasticky foam piece. But I think ultimately, see you there, buddy. Yeah, I think ultimately I like it better when displayed like this. So I might just like keep it either open in a display case, or I might close it and be like, what is that? And I can say, might have it closed right. Gotta make sure I close it right here. What's going on? All right. Oh wait, I think I know why. Gotta get this phone. Yeah, and a nice little cool. Yeah, they called melted helmet pin, medal of Yavin. Oh yes, and projectile dart pin and gauntlet holder. So this is considered a pin, which is kind of weird, but okay. All right, and there it goes. And then this should be part of how it fits. Yeah, it closes, but it does have a little bit. It did have some tape that I took off. All right, so it does kind of pop open. But, a nice little displayable piece, okay? Love it. Think it was great. And the nice thing about this is that this was not like, I don't forget the exact price, but, they have come up with EFX collectibles that have weapon replicas and things of that nature that go into the hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of dollars that are now in the thousands of dollars on the resale market. And for someone like me, I just wasn't at the point. I wish that stuff would come out again at the lower price points because, I look at something that's $400 and it's really hard for me to pull the trigger on it. Not impossible. It's easier now than it used to be, but it just, as a collector, it's really, really hard. I mean, you have to pick and choose. You do. And for people that make these, that don't even blink at, there's always two things that I've always wondered. Like the people that don't even blink at making a purchase that's like $1,000 or $900 or $1,500. Like when the Millennium Falcon replica model came out. I mean, it was beautiful. Don't get me wrong. It was gorgeous, but it was huge. And it was so expensive. And I look at that, I'm like, I don't have that kind of discretionary income. And even if I did, I would use $1,500 to buy, five or six or seven Hot Toys action figures before I would use it to buy one model. But that's just my opinion, and other people would disagree. But then the other thing I never understood, and I don't know why I'm ranting like this, but I am, when I see props, like actual film used props, go up for auction, and I see them, or vintage things like the Boba Fett prototype action figure, and see those command prices of $20,000, $40,000, $60,000, $150,000, $350,000, and up to $500,000. I think to myself, wow, what it must be like to have that kind of discretionary income. So anyway, but this was not anywhere near there, so I think you can still find it if you go to Gamestop.com and you can check it out. And it's a nice little thing. They're not light. They're heavy. They're meaty. They're not flimsy in any way. I mean, there is a question of the gauntlet thing. I think as a piece, like a set of three things, I think it kind of works better than any one thing individually. So I liked it. I think it's cool. I like the displayability of it, and I think I'm just going to leave it in the box. Just open it up like this. It's still unboxing like that. So that'll be it for this week's episode of Darth Tuba Star Wars Unboxing Show. Be sure to like, subscribe, hit the notification button, do all that stuff you're supposed to do on YouTube. More likes, more thumbs up, more comments even, folks, will help get the channel up to a higher feed. I'm well over 5,000 now. That's fantastic. I'm looking into some options for ways to start producing product. I'm working with my daughter, who's an artist, to try to come up with some ideas for some t-shirts and some buttons and some things like that, if anybody's interested. And once that's up and running, I will make sure I put all that information in the notes. Nothing there just yet. But check out all my other videos and playlists. There's lots of other things. If you like Star Wars unboxings, this is the place for you. And I enjoy what I do, and I enjoy sharing it with the world. So thank you so much for watching. And until next time, may the Force be with you.